After living in Kahala for 2 years and doing business as a real estate broker in this community, I've developed a perspective about this neighborhood that I'd like to share with you. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Kahala and I love everything about it. However, I am going to share with you a few of the cons just so that you are aware of in case you're thinking about moving to what some people consider the Beverly Hills of Hawaii. I'll be talking about the location, convenience, what's it like living in the neighborhood, the real estate, and much more. I hope you enjoyed this video and you find that it's helpful. Aloha, my name is Travis McGaughy with Locations Hawaii Real Estate. I am a local real estate broker that focuses on Kahala as well as the East Honolulu corridor. If you're thinking about moving to Kahala, call me because I love to work with people that find me through YouTube. Also, if you can also hit the like and the subscribe button so you can keep up to date as to when I will be releasing my next videos. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, let's start with pro number 1, the convenience of Kahala. Now, you have everything that you need right here at your fingertips. Living in Kahala, literally everything is about a minute or 2 drive away. Now, if you need to go to the mall, you need to go to the drugstore or grocery shopping, literally there are many choices to choose from. Restaurants, we are getting a good fair amount of new restaurants coming in. There was a time and place where it ended up not having a great selection, but they are coming in. A lot of new eateries are opening up and they're quite delicious. One of them being my favorite is actually Assaggio's, which is this, local Italian restaurant that gives nice big servings and there's a big selection on their menu. In terms of grocery stores, you have 3 choices to choose from. You have Whole Foods, which is located at Kahala Mall, and then you have 2 other local grocery store chains, one of them being Time Supermarket. Time Supermarket carries a lot of the Asian and local flavors that I actually grew up learning to love. Now, in terms of life needs, there is a Queens Medical Center clinic that popped up not too long ago near Kahala Mall, and I took the advantage of changing my doctors to a doctor that actually runs his practice out of there, which makes going to the doctor that much easier. It's again literally a few minute drive away. Of course, you have all your major local banks located in Kahala, and then you also have churches, and then you also have 3 parks to choose from, which are very highly used by the community. And one of them, named Hunakai Park, is the unofficial dog meeting area in the morning for local residents. It also includes a sand volleyball court in the eastern corner of the park. Convenient to the beach access, yep, you have 8 accesses to choose from along Kahala Avenue. Some of the beach access is going to be a little bit more rockier than the others, but let alone, there are 8 accesses to choose from. And again, each one of those are literally walking distance from any house in Kahala. Another great convenience is the accessibility to freeways. Now, if you wanted to take a drive out to the west or the east side, you have 2 very easy to get to routes that you would need to take. One cool story that I can share with you is that before living in Kahala, I used to live a little further east in another community on the eastern side of Honolulu. And in the morning, when we used to take my daughter to school, it would take literally 40 minutes from our house over to her school. After moving to Kahala, today it only takes us 8 minutes. Now that is a huge time saver for our family. And again, another convenience about living in Kahala is that you are so close to other metro areas, for example, downtown and then also Waikiki. Now, we are located on the opposite end of Diamond Head, on the backside, and it's not as busy as your Waikiki, and a lot of that traffic doesn't really come through Kahala. So although being very close to Waikiki, we're not in Waikiki, we're actually on the opposite end of Diamond Head. So that's another great convenience, is that we are close to them, but we don't get that hustle and bustle as you would find in Waikiki or even downtown. Living in Kahala is great. It's definitely something where, it's a destination for most people, but for us, it's really home. It's a very quiet and beautiful neighborhood. Pro number 2, it's the location of Kahala. The location of Kahala provides easy access to beachfront properties, to public and private schools, shopping, recreation, and restaurants. It is truly prime location due to its ingress and egress. Unlike other neighborhoods that have one way in and one way out, Kahala's alternate routes of reaching downtown and beyond are in demand. Kahala lots are flat and larger than other Oahu communities. The lot sizes range from 5,000 square feet all the way up to 94,000. The most common lot size are typically between 10,000 and 13,000 square feet. Okay, let's get into our first con, number one, which is Kahala is very private. And what I mean by that is there is a country club by the name of Waialae Country Club that you have to become a member in order to enjoy the amenities that they provide. It is a private golf course as well too. So either having a membership or even invited by a member allows you access to this club. Becoming a member of Waialae Country Club could be a great thing. You know, it could open up business opportunities as well as, you know, allow you to meet your fellow Kahala neighbors and allows you to have the opportunity to play golf in some of Hawaii's best golf areas. Another thing that kind of, you know, tends to be a little private is, you know, there's not a lot of exercise gyms, for example, in Kahala. We do have something called F45, which is Mark Wahlberg's gym. He's the name behind the gym. And, you know, they offer classes. It's kind of like a CrossFit-esque type of workout, and you know, because it's one of basically one, you know, I don't think there's enough time in the day to offer more and more classes. But what I do know is that, but as of this taping, we are going to have a Planet Fitness coming to Kahala Mall. So that should be a great addition to the community. I cannot wait for that to open. But moving on from private, let's go to the next pro, which would be a pleasant and enjoyable neighborhood. Now, living in Kahala, you really get to meet your neighbors. You have great neighbors. You see a lot of people outside exercising, staying healthy. And, you know, a couple of my favorite things to do with my family is either, you know, go on walks in the neighborhood. It's nice and flat, so you're never having to worry about going up or down any hills. And truthfully, it's a great area. It's not widely used streets. There's wide roads and nice wide sidewalk to run and to bike on. And Kahala is arguably the most affluent neighborhood in the island. And, you know, we have a mixture of billionaires and celebrities and sports stars that live in the community. The rich and famous maintain homes or vacation homes in Kahala. Kahala is really an ideal location for people that want to raise families, but it also trends to an older demographic. I would say that the general feel of Kahala, it's laid back and it's quiet, yet highly sophisticated. Neighbors are friendly and you can find the same groups of people running, walking their dogs, and strolling their babies at all hours of the day. It is a very safe neighborhood. Let's move on to con number 5. Now, I had mentioned earlier that there was a wide array of restaurants earlier in the episode. However, I do feel that there is still a shortage of restaurants. In terms of eateries, you have your California pizza kitchens, and then of course, you know, my favorite, Assaggio's, which is an Italian bistro. And then you have great plate lunch areas where, you know, you can grab from the mall Korean food. You know, you got a burrito stand, you got what they call like these little rice balls or musubis from a store, Iyasume, in Kahala Mall. But there are restaurants that are coming to the neighborhood as well too. And we're really excited for them to open up. So I'm going to briefly touch on the weather. I know it's Hawaii and, you know, we have pretty moderate temperatures throughout the year, but I have to put that into the pro list because, you know, it is something that allows us to live this Kahala lifestyle, this island lifestyle, truly. It's very seldom that we get more than 5 rain days each month. And, you know, whenever we do get a rain event, it's very light. But, you know, sometimes we do have, you know, thunderstorms and flash flooding. Kahala is outfitted with a lot of good drain systems. So, you know, not many places, or, you know, I don't know of any places that really get flooded. One thing I do want to mention though is that we are close to the ocean and that, you know, some areas in Kahala do have different flood zone certifications. So if you ever had a question or, you know, ever wondered like what your flood zone is, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll gladly help you out. You know, temperatures go from 70s to the 80s and low temperatures from the high 60s to mid 70s. Very comfortable living. You know, it has a great amount of sunlight, so that lends to having a good opportunity to install photovoltaic panels on your roofs. But what also is great about Kahala is that it is at the footsteps of the Ko'olau Mountains. So as the wind kind of rips down off those mountains and through Kahala, it does provide a nice gentle breeze, a cool gentle breeze, pretty much all day long. The last one can either be a con or a pro. I guess it really depends on what your situation is, but it would be, you know, a pro-con. Housing market. The housing market is quite substantial if you're looking at already owning in Kahala. So now if we were to take over the last 12 months what the median price point was for Kahala, it was $3.35 million. Okay, now if we were to look at 12 months prior to that, the median price point was $2.8 $1.888 million. So as you can see, we have seen a large growth in home values over the last 12 months, basically. So what that means is that there was a 16% increase in home property values. Not great if you're, an outsider trying to buy your way into Kahala. However, if you are a Kahala resident already, that you must feel pretty good about those increases in home values. Average days on market for 2022 has been 90 days on market. Last year in 2021, the average days on market were 46 days. That kind of goes to show that, maybe the market is slowing down a little bit, but Kahala is highly desirable. There is a lot of barriers to entry here, being that there are no new developments happening. And what I mean by no new developments, meaning there's no new plots of land that are being added to the inventory. So currently we do only have 1,200 plots or homes basically in Kahala, as well as 59 beachfront properties. So if you're thinking about moving to Kahala or any of the surrounding areas, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to be of any assistance to you. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video on Kahala and the pros and cons. And I hope to hear from you soon. Again, please like and subscribe the buttons below. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, aloha.